This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon. For the first time, top executives with the Atlanta Braves are in Sarasota County talking about plans to move the team's spring training to Northport. ABC 7's Adam Cellini is here with more details. Adam?
Yes, Scott, representatives with the team met with county commissioners this morning, not only to introduce themselves, but also to further express their desire to move spring training operations to Sarasota County. The proposed spring training complex includes a 6,500-seat stadium in Northport, along with 6 full and 2 half practice fields, batting cages and pitching mounds, 750 paved parking spaces, and luxury suites. In exchange, the team must commit to sign a 30-year lease with annual payments to cover the stadium's debt. Negotiations between the county, the Braves, the West Villages District, and recently the city of Northport have been ongoing. West Villages agreed to donate the land and oversee the project's construction. The state will hopefully contribute $20 million extra from its spring training retention fund as well. The team optimistic about closing this deal soon.
We do expect those financial avenues to come together based on the conversations we've had, the interaction we've had with the county, with Mattamy, with all of the constituents in our deal. We feel very confident that we're going to get this done quickly and properly.
The estimated cost for this complex is between $75 and $80 million. The Braves hope to start spring training here by 2019. Scott?
All right, Adam, thank you so much. New this afternoon, an arrest has been made in a fatal shooting in Palmetto. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies taking 24-year-old Terry McDonald into custody this morning. McDonald is accused of fatally shooting Robert Brewer last Friday. He's now charged with second-degree murder. Battle over dredging Big Pass continues, with one group threatening legal action to stop the plans. Sarasota Herald Tribune reporting the Siesta Key Association filing a lawsuit in an effort to stop the project. It calls for dredging more than 1 million cubic yards of sand to re-nourish Lido Beach. But the group claims that dredging will violate the environmental chapter of Sarasota County's comprehensive plan. The Army Corps of Engineers and the city of Sarasota now have 30 days to respond before a lawsuit is filed in circuit court. In South County, Venice Fishing Pier is back open to the public today. The city closed the pier and the South Jetty area yesterday as high winds and surf pounded the region. It was closed to keep people safe as well as clean up from the weekend storms. And what a difference a day makes, because today is just perfect out there. Yeah. Meteorologist John Scalzi joined you. If we could carbon copy today for a couple of weeks, that'd be great.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
This is absolutely ideal weather. Low relative humidity, warm sunshine,
yep,
blue skies, and a nice breeze. Although the breeze is dying down. I'm sure you've noticed that. The breeze significantly less than it was 24 hours ago. Even this morning when it was kind of breezier, you know, it was still pretty nice. The breezy conditions you can see on our Van Wezel webcam here. We'll put that into motion and watch the swells kind of propagate towards shore. There goes one, there goes another one. You can see those coming on in. Now, what that effectively does is pile up the water close to the shore and create a rip current issue for us across the region. The wave heights, watch them propagate. You'll notice they come from the center of the Gulf and then kind of move toward the shore. And the wave heights, even though the winds have died down, are still pretty high because it takes a little while for those waves to kind of subside. So we still have small craft advisories up and high surf advisories up till the end of this newscast, and I should think they will be coming down. But those rip current advisories, those will be up throughout the afternoon. So if you are planning on getting out there and enjoying our beautiful waters, just be aware that even though the seas settle, there's still a rip current issue out there. Beautiful afternoon, a lot of sunshine, fair weather. We have some changes coming up down the road. We'll talk about those in a second, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Happening today, the Manatee County School Board is taking a closer look at how students are disciplined throughout the district. The Director of Student Services will be giving a presentation based on findings from his report on disciplinary trends for various types of behavior. The report will also go over any increase in student discipline and what can be done to deal with it. That public workshop begins this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Public is invited to hear plans about a proposed I-75 overpass in northern Sarasota County. The overpass would connect Lakewood Ranch Boulevard to Cattleman Road near Nathan Benderson Park. Officials hope it would relieve some of the traffic on both University Parkway and on Fruitville Road. That public hearing begins at 1:30 this afternoon during today's County Commission meeting at the Sarasota County Administration Center on Ringling Boulevard in downtown Sarasota. Tax season has officially begun. The IRS has begun accepting electronically filed tax returns. Taxpayers have until April 18th to file their returns this year instead of the traditional deadline of April 15th. The 15th this year falls on a Saturday, but the deadline will not be shifted to Monday because the 17th then is Emancipation Day, which is celebrated in Washington, D.C. Also, if you need help with your taxes, don't expect to just walk into an IRS office and get some help. All office visits are now by appointment only. Let's get over to the kitchen now and check in with our guest chef today, our good friend Eddie Izeri from Apollonio Mediterranean Grill at the Shops of University Center is with us today. Eddie, great to have you back. What's on your menu for today?
Hi, Scott. So today we'll be doing an eggplant stew, and we're going to serve it with some grilled bread. So eggplant crostini, perfect for lunch or light appetizer.
Chef?
How long have we been married there?
For 76 years.
He was kind and generous to me before we married, and he was kind and generous to me all these years. We decided on Meals on Wheels because I was getting to the point where I couldn't do all the things that I had been able to do. We're the Spans. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Eric Schrock.
ABC 7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are, on our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC 7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing Sight for Life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes at all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC 7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
Just go do it. Go do it. If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5. Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Spectacular weather out there. It's just great. 72-degree air temperature, dew point comfortable in the 50s, 56. Plenty of full sunshine, wall to wall. I love it. I wish we could just, like Scott said, copy this day and repeat it ad infinitum. Of course, we'd probably get tired of it and ask, when's it going to get cold? When's it going to get warm? Hey, if you want it to get cold, hang in there. It's coming up in a few days. West-northwest wind coming in at about 13. Still a little blustery for boaters, I suppose, but that's coming down in speed as we progress through time. And I think as we head into the afternoon, it'll be significantly lighter winds. 70 Wauchula, 71 Arcadia, Mayaca, Lakewood Ranch, 70 in Bradenton and Parrish. Further to the south, 70 in Venice, 69, Inglewood, 72 in Northport, 73, Punta Gorda, and Longboat Key comes in at 68 degrees. So across the region, there's just not a drop of rain to be seen anywhere across the state of Florida. In fact, the deep south looks pretty quiet right now under the influence of a big bubble of high pressure, just making all of the airport hubs perfectly fine for travel today. Atlanta Airport, the Raleigh-Durham airports, all look great. Memphis, fine. To the north, not so much. We have this area of low pressure, which is part of the system that brought us our inclement weather over the weekend, now pulling away from the United States toward the Canadian Maritimes. And it is producing icy conditions in down east Maine. Snow showers are starting to end in parts of upstate New York, where they got a good little dousing of ice there. But there's still rain showers along the coastline and airport delays being reported at both Boston and New York City area airports. Back to the west, another low pressure area exiting out of the Rockies, producing snow showers across the plains. That's important for our forecast in the days ahead. Talk about that in a second. Across our region, a lot of sunshine, big ridge of high pressure producing pretty much cloud-free skies everywhere you look. That high pressure ridge is building in, sinking south across the state of Florida as that low pressure area that's bringing inclement weather to the northeast exits. So that allows for our sunshine and our calmer winds as the high centers more directly over the state. Now back to the west, that area of low pressure has a frontal boundary attached to it, and it's gradually heading in this direction, promising us chances of a cool down coming later in the work week. For today, winds slacken. We have seasonable high temperatures, and it'll be dry throughout the state of Florida. Those are the weather highlights. Now, the thunderstorm outlook looks good across the state on Thursday. State of Florida won't see too much in the way of even any thunderstorm activity, according to the Severe Storm Prediction Center. And why do I mention that? Because it is that frontal boundary sinking south that will give us a chance of rainfall, but non-severe as the frontal boundary sinks southward across the region. We may cloud up a little bit on Thursday and we may get a shower or two, but the rain chance is small. What will happen will be some of this colder air will sink southward over that snow that's occurring right now in the open plains, and it will stay cold as it sinks south, so that by Friday our temperatures will have dropped by about 10 degrees. So we're going to get a little bit of a cool down as we head into the weekend. Forecast looks like this: northwest wind at about 10 to 15, subsiding as we head into the overnight to about 5 knots. Will make for much better boating weather later today and especially tomorrow. Tomorrow, another beautiful day, slightly warmer still on Thursday, but cloudier as the front comes through. And then we turn cooler for a couple of days, and that front may actually wag its tail over us and bring us some unsettled weather through the weekend. Scott?
Okay, John, thank you so much. In health news today, new numbers are showing Obamacare is saving lives. According to a study published in the Journal Annals of Internal Medicine, health coverage increased for chronically ill patients between the ages of 18 and 64 by nearly 5%. This increase was in the first year affordable care options were made available. Chronic medical conditions include type 2 diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, asthma, diabetes, or skin cancer. Improvements were seen mostly in minorities, but the study also shows the Affordable Care Act had no impact on the chronically ill people with a personal physician. Well, we're only about 3.5 weeks into 2017, and some people are starting to let their New Year's fitness resolutions slip a little bit. If you're one of those people, we've got some motivation for you. While you're exercising and trying to lose weight, you are also reducing your risk for some forms of cancer. Kim Hutcherson has the details.
There have been countless studies done over the years that have tried to link what we do or what we eat and drink to cancer. But the latest study from the International Agency for Research on Cancer reaffirms that obesity is linked to numerous types of cancers. The agency's first study on obesity was conducted back in 2002. Research found that people with excess body fat were at a higher risk for certain cancers like colon, kidney, and postmenopausal breast cancer. Fast forward to 2016. Results from their reassessment only add to the list: liver, gallbladder, pancreas, ovarian, and thyroid cancers, just to name a few. The lead author of the study believes the link lies in excess body fat triggering chronic inflammation, which can lead to cancer. The head of the nutrition program for the American Institute for Cancer Research says 2 simple things can help reduce cancer risks: eating healthier and exercising. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Another cancer-related piece of news: a UK food agency is working to warn us about the risk that could be found in eating burnt toast or over-roasted potatoes. According to a campaign launched by the Food Standards Agency, starchy foods cooked at high temperatures increase the risks of cancer. The evidence is based on animal studies so far. Scientists found that a compound is what makes bread and potatoes turn golden in color when fried, baked, toasted, or roasted. But if it's cooked too long, higher levels of that compound could increase our risk for cancer. The link has not been proven yet in human studies, but scientists advise to not overcook your food and avoid keeping potatoes in the fridge before cooking them, as this can further increase those compound levels. A new play is expected to bring a bit of humor and suspense to the Urbanite Theater in Sarasota. John is back with us with a special guest to tell us more. John?
That's right. In case you don't know, the Urbanite Theater is all about a kind of black box experience, showing shows and plays that you won't see anywhere else. And Ed Loeb's new play, Ideation, opens at the Urbanite this weekend, and co-artistic director Brendan Reagan joins us now to talk about it. Hey, thanks for coming in today. Long time no see.
Yeah,
Hope
thanks for having me back
at the theater.
Very well, thank you.
This is an interesting play. Now,
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I have read about it.
Right.
And it deals with a group of corporate think tank folks getting together in a room and in 90 minutes having to come up with a presentation regarding a kind of unusual and troubling assignment. Can we tell people what that assignment is?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, so these management consultants have been hired to potentially come up with a theoretical system for disposing a huge amount of bodies in the case that there's ever a deadly virus that goes global. That's what they've been told at the beginning.
Right, which is way outside, I would think, of their corporate experience. And
normally, yes.
Must be very troubling to them. So
Yeah.
it brings up a lot of questions. When I hear this, I think of the Holocaust of Sarajevo,
Sure.
of the killing fields,
Mm-hmm.
but also, I guess, of conflicts that happen in our individual lives when there are tasks that we don't want to do, but are compelled to do for some reason.
Right. It asks a lot of questions about what you would say when you were faced with a situation that may be potentially damaging to hundreds and maybe millions of people. And would you just fall in line and do your job if you had a high-ranking, high-paying job that you didn't want to mess up? Or would you say something? Now that makes it sound like it's a very heavy, dark, kind of cloudy show.
Comedy.
But it's actually a comedy, if you can believe that. It's sort of I like to call it a psychological suspense thriller office comedy.
Okay.
If such a thing exists, this is the prototypical version of that. It's a wild ride. It's 5 really smart people going super far down the rabbit hole on this topic that we're talking about. And they have hilarious interpersonal relationship issues as well. So that drives a lot of the comedy.
Well, really a fascinating premise, and you know that kind of a situation can only breed incredible drama and humor as well, I guess, in this particular instance.
Right, yeah, it does.
And we should mention that this play started out at a black box theater in San Francisco, immediately was taken to the main stage the season later, and then right on to New York, so it's gotten great reviews.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really exciting because it's in the early stages of its process as a play, I think. It's garnered great reviews in all of its iterations, and it's just catching on. So for us to get it at this stage is really exciting, and for it to have just premiered recently is, you know, exactly what we want to do. We want to bring shows that are on the verge of huge breakout to Sarasota, but obviously things that people have never seen here before either. So
do
that fits
that
the bill.
over and over
Thank
again.
you.
It's really great to have your theater here in Sarasota. Here's the information on where to see the show, when to see the show, January 27th through March 12th. Get your tickets. The Urbanite does not have a large auditorium. That's the beauty of it. It's a very intimate theater, so tickets go fast. Thanks for coming in today, sir.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be right back.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Ciao, amici! It's time for Carnevale de Cani, Top Dog 2017. Benefiting Dante's Den is the Carnival of Dogs. Join us at the Francis for an evening of great food and fun as dogs compete for the title of Best Dress, Best Hair, Best Kiss, and Best Singer. Top Dog is a party for dog lovers and their 4-legged best friends. Come celebrate our favorite pets at Top Dog 2017, Saturday, February 4th at 6 p.m.
I entered into real estate to help people. I would like to invoke a trust in people that I will do everything in my power to help them navigate the process of either buying or selling a home. Well, I know how stressful buying a home can be. I've bought and sold properties in the past before I was an agent. I want you to be able to trust me to stay in contact with you, be available to you whenever you have questions. My name is Kimberly, and I want to be your real estate agent.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point your way.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
2 years ago, my son was born. Now he's running, playing, and learning to speak. When I look at him, I can't help but to see how free he is. I want my son to have the same freedom when he grows up. Protect our freedom of speech, not just for us, but for the future generations.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
Baseball fans remembering today a fallen Major League pitcher. A funeral service is taking place today for Kansas City Royals pitcher Yordano Ventura. The 25-year-old was killed in a car crash Sunday in his native Dominican Republic. Ventura won 38 games in 4 seasons with the Royals and helped the team to back-to-back World Series appearances, team winning it all in 2015. His funeral taking place in Dominican Republic. Closer to home, the Tampa Bay Rays locking in one of its pitchers to a new deal. Sean Tollison signing a 1-year, $1 million contract. 29-year-old was 2-2 with 11 saves last season. The Rays also trading second baseman Logan Forsythe to the Dodgers for pitching prospect Jose De Leon. Forsythe hit a career-high 20 home runs and 52 RBIs last year. More importantly, he was a leader in the clubhouse that will be missed. In tennis, Venus Williams breaking a record by becoming the oldest woman of the Open era to advance to the Australian Open semifinals. The 36-year-old has not reached the semis in Australia since she lost to her sister Serena back in 2003. She'll face fellow American Coco Vandeweghe in the semifinals. And some big honors for retired American tennis player Andy Roddick. He's among 5 people to be elected to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Roddick is the last American man to win a Grand Slam singles crown, taking the U.S. Open way back in 2003. The induction ceremony is scheduled for July 22nd. Back to the kitchen now. John is with our good friend, Chef Eddie Izira from the Apollonia Mediterranean Grill. Guys?
Thanks very much, Scott. Good to have you here, sir. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since the New Year.
Happy New Year, John.
So I have to say, I stopped into your restaurant the other day, and it was absolutely wonderful. Tastes were fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Service was great.
It's nice to have you there.
It was a real pleasure. So today you're cooking up, it looks like little crostinis here of some sort?
Yes, so we're going to be doing an eggplant stew. Then we're going to serve it on top of grilled bread with a little bit of salad, so it could be a perfect lunch or simple appetizer or just a little snack.
Nice. I've been looking for an appetizer, so this is the deal, actually.
So I'm going to get started, and I got a little jump start here on this eggplant. Our eggplant that we normally get at the store, they're pretty large. So, you know, one should be enough for 3 to 4 people. If they're bigger than this, and just a half of eggplant could be sufficient. So.
I notice nowadays in the market there are all kinds of different eggplants. You've got the long, skinny ones. You've got these big, fat ones. Is there any difference in taste, really?
Yes. The larger ones have more sponge, so more meat, if I'm going to say.
Okay.
So they're a little bit larger, and but the downside to them is they have more seeds.
Okay.
So the seeds tend to be bitter, and nobody really wants to have seeds, you know, in their food when you're eating them because they're a little difficult.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, Italian eggplant, the smaller ones are the perfect ones, but you can eat the seeds. Just you know, just don't mind them. Don't feel like it's weird or anything. So you can eat them. So. And the Italian eggplant or Japanese eggplant, which are the really long, skinny ones, they tend to cook faster too.
Okay.
So I'm cutting up this eggplant. I'm starting with the eggplant first. It looks like it's a little bit, or a little too much oil in there, but eggplant will soak all that up. So that's why we put a little extra to begin with.
Okay.
So I cut them up in about 1-inch cubes, and then I'm going to saute this for about 3 to 4 minutes. Obviously, we don't have that time here, so we'll speed it up a little bit.
And are you going to poach these in the olive oil, or do you want to fry them up real fast?
You want to saute them, so you want to get a little bit of brown color in them. That's right. So you want to get them as crispy as possible.
Now, obviously, at TV time, we won't be able to go through the whole process of browning.
That's right.
So let's just add the other ingredients that you would normally do after they've browned up a little.
So you're going to brown up the eggplant for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you're going to add some onions and a little bit of garlic. And the garlic is chopped up, so I'm going to kind of mix this up a little bit. And then you would cook up the onion, the garlic, and everything else in there for about another 4 or 5 minutes. And then we're going to add some tomatoes, chopped tomatoes.
Okay.
You can use the canned ones because they're consistently same color. I don't find anything wrong with them. They're consistent and their flavor is all year round consistent. We're going to add some cannellini beans or large butter beans, whatever you find at the store. So this is like almost like a traditional eggplant caponata, which is a traditional eggplant stew from Sicily, southern Italy. So similar to that, you're just going to stew this down so that way the eggplant sort of melts and it kind of gives away and it just really becomes really, really soft.
So now, do you finish this off in the oven, or you're just going to do this completely on the stove top?
No, you do saute it on the stove top for about, I would say 35 minutes to 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then one last ingredient here that it's not usually common, it's pomegranate molasses.
Ooh,
this is going to add that sweet and sour to it. About 2 tablespoons for 3 to 4 portions. So.
Okay.
And I'm just going to drizzle that right on top.
That is good stuff. Sometimes difficult to find, but some of the higher-end grocery stores will have it.
They do carry it, yes. Now, if you can't find that pomegranate molasses, then just take pomegranate juice and reduce it down as much as you can so it's a thick consistency and use that.
Okay, so after that's sauteed, after it's been on for about 40 minutes or so, is that what we get over there?
Yep, we do get this, and this is quite hot,
man,
so we have to be
that
careful.
Look good.
So really, basically, you're just cooking it all the way down so it becomes this really nice stew. And then we're going to get some grilled bread that I grilled at the restaurant earlier. And we'll set that up with our little side salad.
And while you top that up and show everybody what it's going to look like, we'll remind you that the recipe for this, as well as Chef Eddie's video instructions, are available on our website, mysuncoast.com. Go onto the website, click the dining link page. It'll take you right there with all the video instructions. Look how delicious that looks.
Top it up some creamy feta, so that flavor there from the eggplant, the sweet and sour, the salty and the creaminess. Got some fresh mint.
And again, your name for this dish is?
Eggplant crostini.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chef Eddie. Sure
Thank
do
you.
appreciate you coming in today. We'll be right back.
It's Tampa's most exclusive event of the year, and you're invited. The Morgan Auto Group Charity Polo Classic is back Saturday, February 25th at DI Polo Tour in Plant City. One unforgettable day of luxury and sport with cuisine from Tampa Bay's finest restaurants. Plus, every ticket sold helps a local charity, including the Children's Cancer Center, Ryan Neese Foundation, Close to Kids, and Morgan Auto Group's Helping Hand Fund. Don't miss the Morgan Auto Group Charity Polo Classic. Visit charitypoloclassic.com for tickets and information.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds. No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Get ready to see some fast-flying feet. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, it's the 20th anniversary of the world-renowned River Dance. They're bringing their hard shoe Irish dance to the Van Wezel, and we have a preview. Plus, an amazing story of determination from a Paralympic rower. Our celebrity makeup artist is back with her new favorite beauty finds, and Tsunami is in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Jackie Avina.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. A shocking case of animal abuse in South Florida. Broward County investigators say 67-year-old Jacqueline Traum and 55-year-old Daniel Brantley inhumanely housed and then burned more than 50 animals earlier this month. Investigators say the couple housed the animals in deplorable conditions. Animals killed included 45 cats, a parrot, a raccoon, and at least 4 dogs. 15 other pets were rescued. Both Traum and Brantley are facing 80 counts of animal cruelty charges. Developing this afternoon overseas, a helicopter crashes in the mountains of central Italy. This is the same area that has recently been hit by an avalanche and a series of earthquakes. At least 6 people were on board that chopper when it went down. Officials say poor visibility is making any potential rescue efforts very challenging. More bodies have been recovered from a resort buried in that avalanche. The death toll now stands at 14, and at least 15 more people are considered missing. The mountain resort was buried by snow and rubble last Wednesday. Rescuers say they still have a little hope after 3 sheepdog puppies were found in the hotel's boiler room where the missing people were thought to be. A follow-up now to an ocean rescue of 2 women in California. We're now learning that one of those women has died. The women fell into the rough surf while walking on some rocks Saturday night. One managed to be saved by witnesses and lifeguards. The other one took about 40 minutes to rescue. She ended up dying in the hospital that same night. The other woman is now recovering. A powerful storm is still hammering the Northeast. Overnight, the deadly storm knocked out power to more than 35,000 people. It's now moving into New England, bringing heavy wind, rain, flooding, and even some snow. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has more.
Punishing winds and giant waves slamming the coastal towns in New England overnight.
This is nothing. We'll lose power, but we won't flood.
30 years, I got the hang of it.
But longtime residents not too worried. Even in areas hit with winter weather, saying they are prepared.
It gets real slippery out here if you don't salt it down.
The storm system pounding their area today had been on the move since the weekend. On Monday, turning deadly in Pennsylvania, dangerous and destructive in New York and New Jersey. The heavy wind and rain flooding streets and toppling trees onto houses.
3 houses in a row. One came down at about 5 a.m. We heard it and it woke us up.
The same storm killed at least 20 more people in the south, most of the victims in Georgia, where tornadoes wiped out neighborhoods and this woman lost her sister and friend.
But I know she had to be scared, and I'm so glad she wasn't alone.
The mayor of Adel, Georgia, is now promising to rebuild.
I've never seen the outpouring of love and support in any community that I've seen in the last day and a half.
In the meantime, if you are traveling today in New England or across the Northeast for that matter, forecasters say plan ahead and expect delays because the storm is sticking around for another day. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Thank you, Elizabeth. An avalanche turns out to be a good photo op for 2 friends in California. David Ortiz and Neil Shuttler were driving when they hit a snowbank and then set off an avalanche which buried their car. Well, nowhere to go, the 2 bundled up and used their cell phones to call for help, and while waiting, they passed the time by taking selfies and sharing their experience on Facebook Live.
Definitely got kind of funny. I mean, like, my brother just called me up and he was like, man, I was worried because you guys were laughing so much. David kept making jokes about it. So we were probably depleting our oxygen just because it was like, how did this happen? This is ridiculous. We're stuck in a whole pile of snow.
Well, friends and rescuers were able to get to the scene quickly to dig the friends out and free them from their car. They took it well and made it an adventure, I guess.
What, how many likes they got?
Yeah.
That's actually the name of the game, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
That's funny. Funny. Different world. We have some very pretty weather out there currently. Different world than it was just a couple of days ago, that's for sure, when we had all those thunderstorms and gusty winds. Now look, you'd never know that occurred. Beautiful Lakewood Ranch webcam shows the effects of the rising sun and the beautiful blue sky. Few fair weather clouds from time to time, but I'll tell you what, none of them will produce any rainfall today or tomorrow. And I think they'll just add to what's going to end up being a very pretty sunset this evening. Now, sustained winds are breezy out there, but not windy, coming in at about between 10 and 15 most everywhere you look. And those winds will actually continue to lessen as we progress through the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine wall to wall this afternoon with a daytime high in the low 70s. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Changes coming up later in the week. We mentioned it earlier. We'll go into more detail in a few minutes. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. An update this afternoon on the Brexit vote in Great Britain. The British Supreme Court ruling that the government must get parliamentary approval before starting the process of leaving the European Union. Banks in Britain wanted to leave the country by the end of the year, but the decision to hold a vote in Parliament may delay the Prime Minister's plan to trigger those negotiations to do that. The Prime Minister wanted to begin the process by the end of March. The court also unanimously decided there's no need to consult Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland on that vote. Minnesota's governor is back to work today after collapsing during his State of the State speech. Mark Dayton fainted about 40 minutes into the speech. The chief of staff says the governor quickly recovered and plans to get back to work to releasing a detailed budget proposal today. There's no word yet on why he fainted. Democratic governor will turn 70 years old this week. Today, President Donald Trump is meeting with the big three automakers. He also plans to sign some executive orders, including one on the Keystone Pipeline. But the new president still promoting some falsehoods. ABC's Lana Zach is in Washington with more.
Echoing his remarks to business leaders yesterday, President Trump met with the heads of U.S. car makers today.
We're bringing manufacturing back to the United States big league. We're reducing taxes very substantially, and we're reducing unnecessary regulations.
But his pro-business message may be overshadowed again by what was either a false claim or a joke made to congressional leaders. Members of Congress and the White House confirmed the president repeated a previously discredited claim that, quote, 3 to 5 million of illegals voted for Clinton, costing him the popular vote.
I've seen no evidence to that effect, and I've made that very, very clear.
Speaker of the House Paul Ryan was unwilling to indulge the president's claim about voter fraud. He then went on to support the president's pro-business trade agenda.
We tax our exports and do not tax our imports. And so all we're doing is putting ourselves at a more level competitive playing field.
Meanwhile, FBI Director James Comey has told FBI officials that President Trump has asked him to stay on. Over the weekend, the president teased Comey for his high profile.
He's become more famous than me.
Director Comey is currently among the subjects of a Justice Department investigation for his handling of the Clinton email probe and what role he may have had in influencing the election. Comey is also investigating members of Trump's campaign for their links to Russia. And as the president moves forward with his rolling back of Obama administration initiatives, more executive orders. Today, the Keystone and Dakota Access Pipelines.
And you can mark your calendars for February 28th. That will be the first time that President Trump addresses a joint session of Congress. And we're learning that a Supreme Court nominee may be coming soon. Sources tell ABC News that Neil Gorsuch, at just 49 years old, has emerged as the leading contender. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
Well, a deli in Washington, D.C. is getting more calls than usual, but it's not because of its sandwiches. They're actually leaving messages for the White House. People have been calling DuPont Circle Deli wanting to leave messages for President Trump. Some people are calling to voice their concerns about repealing the Affordable Care Act, others to simply voice their opinion on the presidency. But it turns out the deli isn't even working with the White House. Its phone number, you see, is just one digit off from the number for the White House comment line. This isn't the first time this mix-up has happened.
We would sporadically get calls during the Obama administration, but nothing like this.
and they said they wanted to speak to the White House. And I said, okay, well, this isn't the White House. And then they just kept coming in, and sometimes it would be both lines.
The owner says she hopes the mistake brings in some new customers to the shop. White House officials say the switchboard is still operational and the comment line closed at the end of the Obama administration, and it was up to the Trump administration to reopen it or not. In the meantime, people wanting to reach the White House should go through its website or Facebook page. When we come back, John will have another check on our forecast for the rest of the week, and it may be one of the most unique and bizarre destinations you'll find here on the Suncoast. We'll visit the Linger Lodge, next in a place we call home.
Why do I run? I think life's a journey. Every step brings me closer to my goal. I run to see the world, and when you're surrounded by so much beauty, how could it not take your breath away?
Join us at Robinson Preserve Friday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. for our 9th annual Twilight 5K and 10K race. It's one of the most beautiful scenic race courses in Florida. This race will leave you breathless.
Looking for something fun to do on a Friday night? Then come to Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Enjoy free live music, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Meet up with friends, enjoy activities for the kids, or make it a special date night. And be sure to stop by the ABC7 booth and say hello. Mark your calendars for Music on Main, first Friday of the month, 6 to 9 at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by ABC7 and these sponsors.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
So take a look at our temperature map here. The hotter the colors, the warmer the temperatures. And I bring that up because this bubble of warm air is something for you to remember in about a minute or two when I show you what the future forecast temperatures are for the Deep South and the rest of the nation, including the state of Florida. 72 degrees Sarasota, 72 in Tallahassee, even 50s all the way up to Tupelo, Mississippi, Little Rock, Arkansas, Atlanta, Georgia, coming in at 52, 60 degrees in Charlotte. You know they like that this time of year in Charlotte. 72 degrees the air temperature here with a dew point that feels so comfortable. Low humidity air coming in at 56 with plenty of sunshine around. It's a glorious day. Tomorrow will be, I think, virtually identical, maybe even a degree or two warmer than it is today. Nothing in the way of any radar echoes across the region. Dry as a bone out there. State of Florida looks great. So too does the Deep South. Everything A-OK for travel. This tan that you see here on the water vapor imagery is dry air. Dry air at mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. The moisture indicated by the turquoise color leaving the scene. This dry air will be in place when the next frontal boundary approaches. That will be coming our way, coming out of the Rockies, heading this way by Thursday. But because it moves into dry air, it really isn't going to do much. It's certainly not going to produce severe weather. High pressure will be the dominant weather feature for the next couple of days, providing us with lots of resplendent golden sunshine and very little in the way of any kind of rain chance. Maybe a little patchy fog tomorrow morning. That's possible along the coastline. That'll burn off quickly, though. Winds slacken today. We have seasonable temperatures for high temperatures. If that makes sense. And it'll be dry today across the state. A line of showers will develop along that frontal boundary back to the west, but as it approaches, basically just going to fall apart. Nice sunshine across the region throughout the day. There's our little patchy fog. And then we'll wait, as this computer model shows, for the frontal boundary to approach us on Thursday. bringing a slight, maybe 20% chance of a sprinkle or shower as it moves through. The low pressure area attached to that front is going to spread snow showers across the northern tier as it lays down that blanket of snow. What happens is the cold air behind the front sinks southward over that cold snow and retains the cool temperatures. It doesn't get modified all that much as it sinks south. Consequently, it can make the trek a little cooler than it might otherwise have been able to do. So that by the time we get to Friday, I think some of that cold air will move into the state and we'll see temperatures that'll be about 10 degrees cooler, maybe more, for daytime highs. And that cooler air will probably be staying in place for a couple of days. So I think the weekend we'll see temperatures in the 60s as opposed to the mid-70s that we'll have in a day or so. So some big changes coming our way. Winds may get a little breezy over the upcoming weekend as well. Watch for that. For right now, though, winds are on the decrease, northwest at about 10 to 15. As we head into the next couple of days, a little bit of a warm-up followed by a little bit of a cool-down. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Here on the Suncoast, there's always something around the corner to amaze and entertain you. And tonight, ABC 7's Linda Carson takes us to one of those unique and fascinating treasures in a place we call home.
Linger Lodge started in 1945 as a fishing and hunting camp set in the midst of hundreds of acres of wilderness on the Braden River. All kind of animals were around.
The building was originally a two-story log cabin that burnt down in the late 50s.
Then in 1965, a couple from Milwaukee, Frank and Elaine Gamsky, bought it.
I think Mr. Gamsky, Frank Gamsky, who ultimately did most of the taxiderming, took over in the late 60s, and he's responsible for pretty much all of the eclectic decor.
Gamsky was a vet by trade and took up taxidermy as a hobby. Most of the creatures on the walls are from the surrounding woods and waters. Gamsky added some weird touches of his own.
Did you notice that sign over there that's Linger Lodge? Yeah. That's all made out of pygmy rattlers.
At first there was only a bar with pool tables.
It said that one of Frank's boys went to culinary school, and then the restaurant part of it was created.
In recent years, 2 decks have been added, so you can dine looking over the river. It's a popular place.
We have a lot of kayak groups come here, and it takes most kayakers about an hour, 15, hour and a half to get to Jigs Landing, and then they'll turn around and come back for lunch.
There's also a campground with 105 sites, some permanent, some for RVs. But it's the restaurant that attracts the most attention.
Well, our signature dishes are what we consider unique here. We serve alligator, fried green tomato, frog legs. Those are the things we have a unique gumbo.
Alligator chowder and catfish are also big sellers. A lot of famous people have visited Linger Lodge.
Jeb Bush and George Bush have been here. The wall is full of celebrities. Now, I will say that I'm not sure that all of that was true, because there is also an alligator on the wall with a guy's leg hanging out of it. That purportedly was true, that he wrestled the alligator and lost.
Since Linger Lodge opened in 1945, the whole world has changed. But not Linger Lodge. You can still step back in time into old Florida at its finest. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Linda. Fascinating place. In China, scientists have discovered the remains of what's believed to be the ancestors of otters. The ancient otter was a semi-aquatic creature that fed on large shellfish. The skulls uncovered are more than 6 million years old. Scientists believe the animals were not as cute and furry as they are today. They believe this creature looked more like a wolf with powerful jaws and large teeth. The skull itself is about twice the size of today's otter, and the animal back then weighed probably 100 pounds and stretched up to 6 feet long. The otter family, by the way, goes back at least 18 million years. They've been around for a while. It is film's biggest night of the year. We're going to have the nominations for the 89th Annual Academy Awards. A look at all that coming up next in entertainment news. Stay with us.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office. And ask for Beth Ann Mueling.
Man, he used to hang out with us.
Yeah, and then he just stopped.
I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us.
And our answers for Visit changedirection.org.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better reader.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. The world-renowned Riverdance stops by for a preview. Plus, our celebrity makeup artist has beauty favorites, and Tsunami is in the kitchen. Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
This morning, the nominees for the 89th Academy Awards were announced, and as expected, a musical led those nominations. ABC's Kenneth Moten has a list from Los Angeles.
And the Oscar goes to... Hollywood's biggest night is just weeks away, and the Oscar nominees are...
Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea.
The 89th Academy Awards mixing it up, announcing the early morning Oscar nods online only, getting some help from past nominees and winners. Also nominated for leading actor, Ryan Gosling in La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington in Fences.
And the nominees for lead actress are...
Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga, Loving, Natalie Portman in Jackie, Emma Stone, La La Land, and acting pro Meryl Streep for her role in Florence Foster Jenkins. Supporting actress Viola Davis, Nicole Kidman, Octavia Spencer, Michelle Williams, and Naomi Harris, who told GMA her brother broke the news about her nomination.
He was screaming, and then I was screaming.
For supporting actor, Mahershala Ali getting his first Oscar nomination for Moonlight. Also, Jeff Bridges, Lucas Hedges, Dev Patel, and Michael Shannon. And no surprise, the top 2016 films are in the race for Best Picture.
What happened to my brother?
Manchester by the Sea, Fences, and Hidden Figures all nominated. But the film to beat, La La Land, leading with 14 Oscar nominations. The social media hashtag #OscarsSoWhite may be a thing of the past. After the Academy made big changes last year, inviting more minorities and women, it's one of the most diverse lists of nominees. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Stephen Colbert is the host of this year's Emmy Awards. This will be the first major award show gig for Colbert, who took over The Late Show in 2015. The 69th Primetime Emmys will air September 17th. Finally, well, bad weather had many people staying in the house this past weekend. This guy in California decided to make the best of it. Look at that. Mark Gomez is a professional jet ski rider, and he decided to catch some waves right down his street. Look at that. Overnight rains and overflowing storm drains made all this possible for him to glide down the waters as if he were in the middle of the ocean. Gomez has been crowned a Moto Surf World Champion multiple times. I think he knew it. He knew what he was doing.
I sure hope so, because that looks so incredibly dangerous.
I
mean, who knows what's under that water?
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Just deep enough for his...
I remember, though, when we used to have some flooding around here, and my son was small, he used to take his little go-kart and hook up a little boogie board to the back of it.
Oh,
I'd drive his go-kart, and he'd sit on the boogie board. You know, drive slowly, but still enough to make it fun for the young guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Fun times. Beautiful sunny weather out there. Get out and enjoy it. Sunset tonight should be gorgeous.
All right. I can't wait. Thank you, John. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day ahead.